Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of my Skyblock series. My name is Son of Alistair, and today we are going to be getting started on a mob farm. Behind me, as you can see, I started up a tree farm. I set up about 3 rows of 6, with each one having the same kind of tree source on it because I was trying to farm up as much wood as we're going to need for the mob spawner later on in this episode. As well as I got another source block of water from that island over there, which is a swamp biome. And I grabbed the other bucket that we had in the nether chest. So today I am going to give you guys a tour of the little tree farm that I have. It's not really much yet. It's still kind of small, but it's just a beginning. Also, I am going to be showing you guys here how to set up the water source that is never ending, which I will show you here in just a few moments. But first, I want to go ahead and show you guys the tree farm over here and show you how I set that up. So just give me one moment. Okay guys, so as you can see here, I only have the dirt blocks in the squares where I was putting the trees. The rest of the area around here are half slabs, so that way no mobs will spawn in this area. So pretty much what I did was I put 2 blocks, then I put a grass block, so that way we were able to grow a tree off of those, skip 2, etc., all the way down. Right now I currently have 3 rows of 6. That will probably be bigger if not moved to another area for different types of trees, but for right now this will do just fine. So this is all of the trees that I have been farming over the last day here. I was able to get enough resources for us to go ahead and start the mob farm. I got a little over a chest and a half of spruce planks, 2 chests of spruce slabs, as well as enough trapdoors that we're going to need, and ladders. We will also need 1 cactus and sand, because I'm not just going to do a small mob farm. I'm going to try to make it to where later on we'll be able to automate it. So before we get started, I am going to go ahead and put everything away in the boxes here that I have extra on me. Then once I come back, we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to make the infinite water source. Then we'll find a spot to put the mob farm, and we'll go ahead and get started with building. Okay guys, so to get started with the infinite water source, we are going to need a extra water block, or 2 water sources. So we're going to grab the one out of our little cobble farm here. Don't worry, it won't really mess anything up. If anything, if this tries to grow without water being here, it will break off, but we'll just go ahead and grab that if that's the case. Just make sure that if you're doing this and you come over here and you don't see your sugar cane, that you pick it up so you don't lose it if that's the only one that you have. But to start off with the infinite water source, we're going to place blocks around into a square to where we leave 4 places open in the middle. Then as far as the water goes, we're going to put 1 in one corner, and then we're going to go to the opposite side and put 1 in another corner. So what that does is that creates an infinite water source. So if we was to take 1 out of the same exact corner that we just placed 1 in, it's going to automatically refill itself, and it doesn't matter how many times that we decide to do this, it's always going to stay full here. So before this tries to grow any further and falls off, I will go ahead and put the water back in here so that way we have that. But yeah, just give me a few seconds here. I'm going to go ahead and look for a spot to build the farm here and get a little platform set up for us to build off of. Then I'll go ahead and explain to you what I'm going to do from that point, and we'll get the build started. It shouldn't take us too long. It is quite a big build though, so just bear with me while I'm getting everything worked out. And once we get all of the stuff set up for the mobs coming in, and we actually have some materials like iron, as well as like we should also get gravel from the zombies in this mod. So once we get that, we'll be able to get additional items, as well as turn stuff into grass, because on this mod there is a recipe to take 2 gravel and 2 dirt to turn into 4 coarse dirt, which you can then use a hoe to hit the top of it with, I believe it's right click, and that will turn it into regular dirt. Then you can till that up, then you're left with 4 dirt instead of 2 that you used for it originally. You do lose the gravel, but with the mob farm, it should not be an issue. We should have an abundance of that in no time. So yeah, give me a few moments. I'm going to get set up with a spot here, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to come off on this side of the island here to build the mob farm on this direction. But I did want to go ahead and come back and let you guys know. I figured out after a couple of, well, it's been more than a couple of days, but I figured out after a few night times that I wasn't having any phantoms spawn on me. So I thought about it, and I do remember before that I had seen that if you're at a certain Y level that you won't have any additional spawn at nighttime. So I looked into it a little bit further, and as long as you are, I believe, below 62 Y level, then you shouldn't have any of them spawn on you. So right now it is nighttime. As you can see, I do not have any above my head. If I check my Y level on the left hand side in the middle top, it shows 61.5. So technically we are below the 62 Y level mark, so we do not have any spawning on us right now. But just to kind of show you guys and to explain it a little bit better, I'm going to stand one block higher here, okay? So this block here is technically 63, so we are above 62. And if you wait a few moments here, you will see we will have some phantom spawn. So as long as you are below this Y level, you will not have any spawn, but if you are above this, they will spawn. We'll just wait a few moments here just for them to come in so that way you can see. Alright, as you can see, we had 4 of them spawn in because it's been quite a few nights since we've slept and we have insomnia pretty much. But we're going to go ahead and come hide behind these blocks. Right now they won't attack us as long as we're sitting here. I know they just hit me just then, but that was because they had started attacking me before I came underneath this. But as long as you have shelter over your head when you're above the Y axis of 62, they should not try to attack you or be able to see you to spawn. So just make sure that whenever you are building at nighttime and stuff like that, if you're above y-axis 62, that you always have shelter above your head. Tree leaves do count, but I generally try to have like spots set up around that I can just run underneath real quick like this. Later on we will set it up to where we have like a base or something, but for right now this will be just fine. They should start dying off here too because it's daytime. Catching on fire. See? But yeah, as long as you stand underneath these and they don't have like line of sight for you, generally they won't attack you. If you pop out real quick and just go underneath something, they're not going to have enough time to come at you. Just make sure that you build out like 1 or 2 so that way they have something overhanging to get stuck on. You don't want to be sitting here farming up cobble or something like that. Back up a little bit too far while you're farming it and be open for them to be able to attack you or anything, especially if you're playing on hard like I am. The hard difficulty, they will hit you for quite a bit, so you want to make sure that you're very cautious when doing that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get back to working on extending this out just a tiny bit so that way we're not as close to the edge because it was like right here. But once I get the platform and stuff set up, we'll go ahead and explain what we're going to be doing with the mob farm. Then we'll get that stuff we'll get that stuff started. So just give me a few moments and I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so as you can see, we have a little platform here that we're going to be building the mob farm on. This is not my design, so I am following a build that I picked out for this, which I will put in the description below if you decide that you want to do it. It does say that it's bedrock, but I have tested this already on a creative server and it does work on this one as well. So what we're going to do, I've marked the corner here of where everything was going to be out, and I put a source block 2 out from each one of them, so that way it leaves a 3 square opening on all sides. So what we're going to do to get started is I'm going to extend this up 1. These blocks will be temporary. They're just placeholders to get everything started here. But once I have those set up, I am going to go all the way around with some slabs. That way it creates like a square. Then on the back side, facing away from where we're going to be coming in at, so from this side over here, I am going to extend this down 1 and put a slab, which will be also temporary. I will remove this at one point. I just need it so that way I can put some ladders on there for right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do at this point is I'm going to go up here. We are going to be extending this up 22 blocks, but before we extend it, we want to make sure that we start putting our trapdoors down here, so that way we don't have to do it later. So to do this, you want to make sure that here, let's get rid of these ladders real quick just to make it a little easier for you guys. So what you want to do is when you're placing it on here, you want to make sure that you put it on the lower side of the blocks or the source block here. So right here on this block, so pretty much that way we can like crouch underneath it. That'll be perfect for it. You do not want to put it right here because that won't work out properly, because later on, once we try to turn this into an automatic farm, we're going to want to make sure that we leave room for hoppers down here as well as chests. So we'll get rid of this one right here. Just make sure that you do it on the bottom of the top source block. Once again, this will be temporary, so I will be removing all of this, but for right now it can stay there. Put the rest of them in. We're going to go all the way around in a square here. I am going to leave these 2 spots open for right now while we're working on it. We'll fill this back in later, but I'm going to go ahead and put my ladder so that way we can get back up and down. Alright, so what we're going to do now is I can go ahead and get rid of these corners here, so that way we're not using as many blocks, because that'll just be way too much for right now. We don't actually need to use this. So we're going to go up 22 blocks from here. Also keep in mind you will be having spawns at nighttime, so be very careful. Alright, so I'm gonna wait out nighttime. I'm gonna extend that up 22 blocks and eat some food to get a little bit of health back. Then once I have it up there, I will come back and let you guys know what it looks like, as well as show you guys what we're gonna do from there. So I'll be right back with you once it's day. Okay guys, so we've built up 21 high for the chute. As you can see, we are pretty high up. I put a couple of torches down there just so that way we don't have any mobs spawning while we're building. The next step is going to be the part where the water funnels the mobs in whenever they fall off of the trap itself. This will be a pretty tall one, so it will go up. I think we'll have about probably 6 or 7 layers where mobs will be able to spawn. Everything will fall down into that, fall onto this platform that we're going to be building here in just a moment, and the water, the way that we do it, should be just enough to stop right at the edges here, so it won't actually go down at all. So let me go ahead and get this platform built. I will come back, show you guys what that looks like, and then we'll start working our way up to start on the layers for the actual farm itself. So bear with me just a few moments and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I'm almost finished building the platform. It's going to be 19 by 19. I'm not sure if I had mentioned that yet or if I had accidentally said the wrong number. But once you finish, it's going to be looking about the size of this. I did go ahead and just turn it on to peaceful mode while I'm building this, so that way we're not being bothered by the spawns. And that way we don't die with a whole inventory full of wood, because it does take us quite a while to bounce back at this point. But yeah, I went ahead and filled all the rest of that in. So at this point, once we've finished that, we are going to want to build a lip all the way around this, because eventually this will have water on it. So we'll go ahead and do this. to bring it up one. You can go ahead and get rid of that just to save materials. Then we're going to go all the way around the square with this on the outside to create a barrier. So I'll go ahead and do that. Then once we do this, like I said, this is going to be the funnel spot where the monsters will fall into the actual trap itself. And like I had mentioned before, we are going to be using a cactus for this, for the spiders. I'm going to wait to put it on there. In the video, he puts it up a little bit earlier, but for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this spot first. But the cactus will be sitting right in the middle of this area here. Then their platforms for the mob spawners will be about 2 squares high from that position. So once I get the rest of these walls up, then I get to start working on the layers themselves. I will come back and let you guys know and see what the progress is at that point, and we'll be right back, okay? Okay guys, so we got the lip finish all the way around the edge here. Whenever we do go ahead and put the cactus in there, if you're wanting to do it before me, I would start on the opposite side of where you have the ladder. Just make sure that you place it on the bottom part of the block, so that way it's not, or I'm sorry, if you place it at the top part of the second block, then it'll be just at the level that we're going to need it at. So we'll place a temporary block just to get this one out here. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. That will be able to, we'll put the sand on there, which I'll just put a temporary block so you can see what I mean, but that'll fit just perfectly with the line here. Then once we put the cactus on there, it will only be able to grow up an extra layer, so 2 high before it hits the roof, which will stop the spiders, because as soon as they go up here, instead of getting stuck, they're just going to kill themselves, so then the rest of that stuff will fall, and it won't be in the way for the rest of the monsters to fall through at that point either. So we're going to go ahead and start with getting the layers down. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put 1 block above this just to get the thing started for our slabs. You can use leaves for this, but where I don't have any shears yet, I decided just to go ahead and use the slabs. I might change that up later at a different point, but for right now this will work just fine. But we're going to go all the way around the edge here and get a full layer all the way around, and then once we get to that point, I will come back and show you exactly what we got to do next. Okay guys, so I got the slabs all the way around the edge, so that way there isn't any mobs that are going to spawn in or on the edge there. Once you get that part down, we are going to make like a little L shape, almost like a spot for the water to come off of once we have that ready, which we're not going to do until towards the end. But we'll go ahead and get these down right now just so that way they're ready for us. So go around all the corners and do this spot right here. Then once we've got all of this done, we are going to go ahead and start working on the layers, but I want to go ahead and grab some more resources and stuff like that, so that way we don't run out, as well as maybe bring a chest up here so that way we don't have to keep taking trips back, but maybe not. I'll also go ahead and grab the cactus and stuff while I'm down there. Then whenever I come back, I'll show you guys how to do a layer. Then after we do 1 layer, I'll go ahead and do the other 6. Then we'll come back once I'm ready to put a roof on it. We'll do that part at the beginning together until you guys get the idea of what I'm going to be doing. Then I'll cut ahead to whenever I get the roof finished. Keep in mind that the roof alone takes almost 800 blocks and 800 slabs, so this is going to take quite a bit of resources. So if you're doing this on your own, just make sure that you farm up quite a bit ahead of time just to make sure that you're ready. As you can see, we are quite a bit up into the sky here. Let me get on the other side so you can see my island. As you can see, we are quite a bit up. As you can imagine, 7 more layers above this plus a roof, that's going to be quite a ways up into the sky. Generally, when you're building mob spawners and stuff like that, it is better to go down towards Y level 0, so that way you have more mobs spawning in. But with the size of the farm that we're doing and stuff like that, it shouldn't be that big of an issue, considering we're playing by ourselves and we'll accumulate a lot of resources pretty quickly. So let me go ahead and get all of this stuff started, get the other resources that we're going to need for this. Then I'll come right back here with you guys and show you guys how to get that layer started. Just in case you guys were curious what it looks like from the bottom at this point, this is what we have so far. Keep in mind where we have the ladders and stuff, we will be removing those at the end, so it will be pretty much just open to where you can walk all the way around and gather any of the resources that drop from the monsters. But I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what it looked like from the bottom. That way if you are doing it, you kind of have a general idea of what it's supposed to look like. But yeah, let me get these resources, start working my way back up there. I'm also got the water in my inventory because I'm going to put infinite water source up there, so that way when we're putting the water down, we don't have to keep making trips back and forth. But yeah, let me get this stuff going. I'll be right back with you, and then we'll go ahead and get those layers down. Okay guys, so we got the infinite water source as well as a chest up here to have the extra materials that we need, so we don't have to keep taking trips back and forth. I also brought the cactus up here, and as you can see, it grows perfectly to where it's just level with the top of this here. So what we're going to do to get started is I'm going ahead and I'm going to put 3 high. Then we're going to go out until we get to the top of where this is. Then from this is going to be our middle point. So from the middle point, we're going to go out 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then on the opposite side, we're going to do 6 from the middle, which if you check here, this is the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then once you get to this point, we are going to go all the way around in a giant square. So from this point out, you can also go 6 in. Actually, I don't want to go in that direction because it'll just have it set up to where we're having to refix that. So I want to say that this is going to be 6 also. Then 6 on this side as well. I think I did 7 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, 6. Okay, and then we're going to bring this all the way to the other side and make a square. And then we're going to meet this over. And then we're going to go 6 out from this one here to make the other side of the square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then these should meet perfectly if we go back this way. Yep. Alright, then we're going to go 2 over. Then this will be technically the middle. There will be 2 on either side. Then we're going to bring these all the way to each end. Then each one of these is going to be a spawning platform, and I'll kind of explain that here in just a moment. But we're going to put in the rest of these blocks here. Then we're also going to go over here and do the same thing on this side. So 2 on either side, so make sure you're in the middle. Then follow this all the way across. Alright, so technically this is going to be one spawning platform, but if they was to start spawning on here right now, they would not fall off of here because they will be able to tell with their AI that these are open blocks. So in order to trick the mobs into falling, one thing we will need to do is add in some trapdoors on either side. So at the top, make sure you're putting it at the top, don't put it at the bottom. We're going to put one on each one of the blocks on both sides on each one of these rectangles here. So we'll start off on that. And I always try to make sure, I know that it might seem like I'm kind of moving a little bit slow for you guys, but I always try to make sure when I'm doing anything off the ground like this, even if it's not very high, I try to crouch. That way, if I come across the edge or if something happens to where, like, say I don't, have uh, passive mode on and or peaceful mode on and mobs start spawning in and one knocks me off, I could fall off into the abyss, and then at that point I'm not going to be able to get back up here very easily. But make sure that when you're putting these in, you do not put it like that here. So if you've seen what I did, I went ahead and connected them to either side. Or to this side. Always make sure that you go around and you're putting them all on the opposite sides of each other, so that way once we finish all of this, we'll be able to open them all up, and instead of the mobs just standing on this platform and thinking that there's nothing here, even though the trapdoors will be open, they'll think that this is able to be walked over. So as soon as they go to walk over that one spot, they're going to fall into the water, which will be below, and the water will carry them down onto our trap, which I said before, it's 22 blocks high. Not all of the monsters will die when they fall from that height, but they'll usually be like one hit from death. So at this point, it won't be very hard to get the materials that we need once we have this all up and running. But I'm going to finish off this layer here. Alright, so what we did is put trapdoors on either side, and as you can see, if we open them all up, it creates like this gap here. So as soon as they go to walk, and they'll think that these things are technically closed, so as soon as they go to walk over like this, where these are open, they're going to fall right into the lower platform here, which will eventually have water in, and they won't be able to get back out of that. They'll just fall right into our trap here. So let me go ahead and get the rest of these doors all open and stuff like that. I'll come right back with you, show you how to add the next layer. Then I will go ahead and finish all the layers off camera and show you guys how to get the roof started. So give me a few moments, I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so I've got all the trapdoors open. I also have a little spot that I'm going to be able to get down at, which this will be temporary. I'll remove these once I get up. But we are going to be very high up into the sky, so I want to make sure that we have a safe way to get down. So what we're going to do from this point is we want our next area of blocks, or half slabs, to be 2 squares off of the ground. So what we're going to do is we are going to go up 1, up 2, then from this point up here we are going to add in half slabs on either side, but you want to make sure that you remove this slab here because you don't want to keep these there. So what we're going to do is we are going to build this all the way around. Also make sure that you have a way to get up and down. So for me, I'm going to keep this area right here regular blocks, so then I will fill those in as we go and fix all those and add in the trapdoors to this side, because obviously you can't build trapdoors in a ladder, so I want to make sure I have room for that. So pretty much what we're going to do at this point is we will go all the way around this the same exact way that it's like this. Then right on the top of this platform up here, we are going to start all over again. So we will add regular blocks, then we'll add in the runs that go all the way around, as well as the trapdoors, and we're going to do this till we have 7 high. And I will be back with you guys once we get this all set up and you can see what it looks like. Okay, so second layer finished. We are going to go up 5 more. And I just wanted to show you guys real quick like what this was going to be looking like. I still have my area for the ladder. All of these solid blocks will be removed as we go down and replaced with the blocks that they're supposed to have. But yeah, this is what we got so far, and I will see you guys in a few moments on the roof. Okay guys, as you can see, we got the rest of the 11 blocks out on all of the corners. We're going to square this off and fill all of the rest of the roof in. So this will all be completely covered. Just make sure that you remember to leave the spot open where we have the staircase going down, which you can see it's the single blocks right there. The reason for that is you don't want to forget where exactly that ladder is, and once we fill all of this in, it might be a little disorientating to try to figure out exactly where we came from. So we want to make sure that we leave that spot open, but I'm going to go ahead and fill all the rest of this in. I'll be right back with you guys, and we'll see what it looks like once it's finished. Okay guys, so as you can see, we've fully got the roof finished, and on the top layer of the bricks here, there is some slabs to keep all of the mobs from spawning up here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back down on each layer and remove the block here that has the ladder. So we'll go ahead and go down here and get onto this layer here. Then from this area, we're just going to go ahead and all the way down, we're gonna start removing ladders. We're gonna get rid of the main block that's here, and we're gonna replace this with a slab, so that way it fills that in, and the mobs are still unable to spawn here. Then also what we're gonna do after we get rid of these squares here, we want to make sure that we get rid of this ladder. Then place down a trapdoor for the one that we have missed. Also, if you have any trapdoors that you had left open like I did on this row, make sure that these are open, otherwise the mobs will not fall down. Then you're going to have the issue of having a bunch of extra stuff up here spawn that you're not actually able to kill, and it does take up like spawn cap. So if you hit that cap and you do not have a way for them to get down and die, then yeah, you're not going to have very many spawn. Oop, definitely do not do that. But yeah, once you're going down, work your way down and get rid of all of the stairs, replace all of those. Then once I finish doing this, I will go ahead and come back and show you guys how to get the next layer. So what we're going to do next is we got this infinite water source here, and we are going to fill up our buckets. I want to start on the opposite side of where we have our stairs and our water source here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on this top corner here. So this right here will have a water source block. Then we're going to work our way, and we're going to put one water block on each one of these squares all the way across. Then we'll do this side, then we'll wait and do this side last. That way we're able to keep our water source there as long as possible and keep using that, so we don't have to go all the way down every time that we need to get the water. So give me a few moments. I'm going to go ahead and start doing this, and I'll show you the first two just so that way you can get a general idea how this is going to work. But I will put the first one there, second one next to it, so on and so forth, and we're going to go all the way down. And by doing that, it will make these water blocks, instead of only coming out 4 long, it will reach all the way to the edge here without actually turning it into a infinite water source. So we won't have to worry about that pushing all the way down or getting rid of the cactus or anything like that, but it'll definitely push all of the monsters down into where we want to get down. Then once you get all of this stuff down here, pretty much when you're putting in your last pieces of water here, the water will push you to the edge. If you stay crouched, it'll put you right at where the ladder is. Then you can just break your ladders on your way down, then fill in the 2 extra trapdoors that you need to put down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this finished, and then once I come back, you guys will see the finished product as well as get to see it in action. Okay guys, so we got the mob farm finished. As you can see, it is working. When these come down, they should all be like 1 or 2 hits from death. So you'll just be able to come up and just hit them all. The ones that have armor might take an extra hit, but generally you don't even need a weapon. You can just hit them with your hands. Then as far as the items go, you can walk all the way around and pick them all up. And the mobs should not be able to see you. So as far as the creepers and stuff go, you shouldn't really have to worry too much about them being able to kill you. If for whatever reason there's something that you can't get, like that one right there, kill all the mobs, lift one of them up, get close enough to get it, close it back up. That'll be good to go. Alright, well, yeah, as far as that goes, this is what we have so far. I will give you guys a little look from a little bit of a distance away so that way you can kind of get a scope of how big it is. But, yep, goes all the way up. As you can see, those glowing eyes up there, those are all spiders. The cactus will take care of those as they fall down. I was having a little bit of the issues with getting the water to line up perfectly for whatever reason, but didn't make much of a difference where it was only one square off on one side and they're still falling without any issues. But yeah, as far as that goes, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode off here. If you guys made it to the end, please comment the number 3 for episode 3 for me if you're still paying attention. And yeah, tomorrow we'll go ahead and get started with a new farm, as well as trying to see what we can do to set up our first passive farm. But yeah, we got everything taken care of today that we planned on. We will be able to use the string here to turn into wool to make ourselves a bed. So the phantoms and stuff like that will not be an issue. And also these mobs will still spawn in the daytime. So even though it's nighttime right now, and they're spawning, once it turns daytime, the way that we built it, since the roof is covering everything and it's technically in a shadow, everything here will be able to be spawned during the daytime as well. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and end it off here, and I'll see you guys next time.